Welcome students. Let's pursue our lesson. In previous lesson we studied about the causes of shortage of fresh water, the results of shortage of fresh water, and I have asked a question to you that what are the possible solutions to cope up this problem. So today in today's lesson we studied about the desalination of seawater, solution for water shortage, possible solutions for the water shortages in Pakistan. Let's recap our lesson. Recap results of shortage of fresh water. That water shortages have a great impact on human health, socio-economic development and the environment, hunger, poverty and education, sanitation issues and diseases, conflicts and biodiversity loss. We already discussed all these causes, all these results in detail in previous lesson. Objectives of the today's lesson. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to understand, define saline water and desalination, explain the process of desalination, illustrate the advantages and disadvantages of desalination, and describe the possible solutions of water shortages in Pakistan. First of all, let's start with the desalination. That what is desalination? What is saline water? How many processes we have in desalination? What are their advantages and disadvantages? And at the end, what are the possible solutions for the shortage of fresh water in Pakistan? Can we drink salt water? Is it possible for us to drink salt water? A very famous rhyme of the ancient mariner. Water, water everywhere, and all the boats did shrink. Water, water everywhere, not any drop to drink. Small quantities are not harmful, but it is counterproductive. It just makes you more thirsty. Eventually, it can be dangerous, ultimately producing fatal seizures, heart arrhythmias, and kidney failure. Obviously, our body is not able to get or absorb extra amount of salt water, salty. Let's start with the desalination. That what is desalination? Basically, desalination refers to the various processes that removes excess salt and other minerals from water in order to make it suitable for human consumption, irrigation, and industrial application. Desalination can be seawater desalination or brackish groundwater desalination. Desalination is the process of removing dissolved salts and minerals from saline water. The main goal of this desalination process is to produce fresh water for the purpose of drinking, irrigation, or industrial usage. Existing desalination technology requires a substantial amount of energy, usually in the form of fossil fuels. But on the other hand, the amount of greenhouse gas emissions and brine wastewater generated by the desalination plants pose significant environmental challenges. Basically, why desalination? Why we desaline the water? Makes water suitable for human consumption and irrigation, makes water suitable for industrial application, scarcity of fresh surface water in the world, reduce contamination of groundwater, and abundance of seawater. Saline water. That what is saline water? Saline water, also called salt water, is water with a high amount of salt in it. It often means the water from the seas and oceans. Almost all the water on the earth is saline. Process of desalination. Basically, desalination methods can utilize either thermal processes or membrane processes. Basically, we called it the reverse osmosis. Multi-stage flash distillation is a thermal process for desalting relatively large quantities of water. This is the modern age method which are using in the desalination process, and we called it is the reverse osmosis. In this process, a membrane is used for desalting includes reverse osmosis and electrodialysis. In reverse osmosis, salt water is forced against the membranes under high pressure and fresh water passes through while concentrated mineral salts remain behind. As you see in the picture, we have a membrane And desalination uses the principle of osmosis to remove salt and other impurities by transferring water through a series of semi-permeable membranes. A membrane is used through which a water can pass, but it can stop the salty water, salt particles, and pass on the fresh water. That is the modern method which we used in the desalination process. The second process is the thermal desalination. That is the old method. It is an old method of desalination in which that the boiling temperature of water is lowered as air pressure. This process is carried out in a series of closed tanks. When preheated seawater enters the first stage, some of it rapidly boils, forming vapors that is condensed into fresh water on heat exchange tubes. If you see the diagram, a thermal desalination is a method of cleaning water that can occur through many different processes. In this process, we heat the water solution and gathers the pure water when the vapor cools and condensation takes place. And in another tank, we preserve that fresh water. Desalination plants around the world. Desalinated water is an important contributor to alleviate water shortage. And today's world contracted capacity of desalinated plants is 80.2 million and commissioned capacity is 74.6 million meter cubic per day. Total installed desalination capacity by region worldwide. In Middle East countries, we have 53.40%. In North America, it's 17%. In Europe, it's 10.10%. And in Asia, it's 10.60%. In Central America, South America, and Australia, it's 2.80%. And in Africa, it's 6.20%. Water crisis in Pakistan. That what type of water crisis Pakistan faced nowadays? As we all know that nowadays the country is facing severe shortage of water. There are two main reasons of water crisis: natural reason and mismanagement. Natural reason. This is due to prolonged drought which is beyond the control of a man, or in the years when the rainfall is not normal or below from the normal state. The country generally faces water shortage. The government reduces the 5% quota of water in Sindh and Punjab due to the bad rainfall which decreased the level of Mangla Dam. Mismanagement. The average annual inflow of the Indus and its tributaries is 141.67 MF, of which 97% is used in agriculture and the remaining 3% for domestic and industrial purposes. Desalination in Pakistan. When and where? DHA desalination and power plant. It is the first project of its kind in Pakistan which desalinates water from the Arabian Sea for human consumption as well as provides electrical power to the KESC grid. Manora water desalination, 200,000 to 250,000 gallons of water per day for Navy. The Pakistan Water and Power Development Authority has installed 12 desalination plants along Manchar Lake for providing potable water to the populace residing in the areas adjacent to the lake. The water treatment plants have cumulative design capacity of 15,000 liters per hour. Over 4,000 families of fishermen folk are being facilitated with high quality potable water. A desalination plant was installed in 1987 in Sandak copper mines in Balochistan. It uses the brackish water reverse osmosis process. Another desalination plant was installed in 1995 and commissioned in 1996 at the Hapco power station outside Karachi. This plant uses reheat type multi-effect distillation desalination. Knob near Karachi operates a seawater reverse osmosis desalination plant to meet its operating requirements. Advantages and disadvantages of desalination. Basically, desalination also have the environmental impacts. The environmental impact is another disadvantage to water desalination plants. Disposal of the salt removal from the water is a major issue. In addition, the desalination process uses or produces numerous chemicals including chlorine, carbon dioxide, hydrochloric acid, and then can be harmful in high concentration. We have advantages of desalination. Seawater is an unlimited source. Many large cities are located next to the sea. For some counties, it is only access to fresh water. Migration from the countryside due to freshwater scarcity can be reduced. But on the other hand, if we see the disadvantages of the desalination, is an energy intensive process. Investment and operation costs are very high. Brine discharge can affect the environment. Brine discharge of brackish water desalination inside the country is difficult. Possible solutions for the shortage of fresh water in Pakistan. We have basically the four major possible solutions to cope up the problem of shortage of fresh water in Pakistan: treatment of sewage, desalination of seawater, water conservation, and building of dams. What steps should be taken to save water? Government should make dams. People should use water wisely. Highlands should be helped in the water crisis, which should make people aware about importance of water through campaigns. And we should make Pakistan a better place by solving such issues in time for the survival of our coming generation. This is a lesson. Let's recap the lesson, that what we are able to understand and what we get information from this chapter. That now we understand about the fresh water and its means, its importance, and its composition. Causes of shortage of fresh water. That what are the major causes of shortage of fresh water? The disputes between the countries which share on one river, the problems connected with the desalination of seawater, the problems of supplying fresh water in Pakistan, and possible solutions for the water shortages in Pakistan. So, this is our lesson. I have attached few links to understand the process of desalination. Go through these links from the YouTube and also do your worksheet and the questions on separate loose sheets. Thank you.